We're going to look at two websites here. Now, we all know that WordPress is the most used platform on the internet. Something crazy like 80% of all websites on the internet use WordPress as the back-end system that it's built on. There was a time, Brad, and this is like 2007 or something, where we were having to freaking convince clients that WordPress was not a blog tool like blogger.com or blogspot.com. We were like, no, WordPress, it's a CMS now. It's a content management system. And so we were trying to convince clients to use it that way. And then we've seen what it's become in the last, let's say 16, 17 years of since that thing happened, that change happened, and it started to be used as that. Okay, so we're going to compare right now. We have two websites, Brad, and you may have seen one of these. I don't know if you know the answer already. Maybe, I don't know. But one of these was built on WordPress, and the other one was built on Wix Studio. Wix Studio. So we're going to go, and I'm going to scroll through these, and Brad's going to tell us. So this first one is called Synergy, but it's spelled FYN 3RGY. So Synergy with numbers for the vowels other than the Y's, if you consider Y a vowel. All right. It always was like sometimes Y.
I know.
What's the freaking rule? I don't know. A-E-I-O-U and sometimes Y. Well, tell me when is Y. Let's just call it a vowel.
Yeah.
Anyway. All right. So this one, I'm going to scroll down, Brad, and you're going to be thinking in your brain which one was on WordPress, which one was on Wix Studio. And by the way, I think this time it's real. If you get this wrong, you're done, man.
I'm out.
You're done. I'm so sick of you anyway. Like the comments, like I have to extract morsels of intelligence out of you based on, I give you easy questions like you're a political candidate and I'm wanting you to win. Not saying anything, but if I want you to win, I'm going to give you softballs, man. And that's what I do on this. I'm like, Brad, what color do you like? Red or blue? And then you're like, I like red. There's no wrong answer. That's the thing. I give you those kinds of questions. Okay, so here we go. Okay. You're going to go this one, Synergy website. I'm scrolling down. There's a big animated motion thing in the beginning. Now I'm scrolling down. I'm in a new module, and there's this building rotating right here as I scroll. And then as I keep scrolling, now we're in an about section that's orange, and now the site is side scrolling, but I'm scrolling down, and now we're getting to another orange section that's a lot of text, and then one's called stages, and I got some images that are opening, like animating in as they come in, and then I'm scrolling down. Oh, and now I just had a building like expand into multiple different floors. And then we're scrolling down. Now I'm in another side scrolling module, although I'm still just scrolling down. And now a little testimonial and then a nice footer on the bottom. So that's this site, Brad. Okay. Now I'm going to scroll, or I'm going to go to the next one, which is this right here. This is called the boathouse.agency. Okay. The boathouse.agency. So I open this and we've got a little animated background of a bunch of thumbnails that look like they're probably related to projects that this agency did. The Boathouse, big moments for disruptive brands. That's their thing. As I'm scrolling down, I got a nice little logo lockup coming in with Marriott and Apple and Netflix and some other notable brands. I scroll past that and I've got another section with a big animated background. Performance is running nice and fast, no glitching on these videos, and the videos are filling the whole screen. You got celebrities in this video and some music artists and stuff. Then you scroll down, you see our process, and as I'm scrolling down the process, it's fading in different sections like ideation and stuff. And we have talent acquisition as one of the process, so all in-house. They negotiate payroll and residuals for the talent. They have faces of our recent campaigns, and they have several celebrities on here that are recognizable. Charlie and Martin Sheen, and you got Dennis Rodman and Doogie Howser on here. Is this Brandy? Is that Brandy? And you got Shaun White and stuff. Anyway, so you got some very known people on here. And then you got award-winning execution, another big background video, and I'm scrolling down, and now I got a video that is side-scrolling all of a sudden. A commercial looks like for Lovesac and some social media stuff. So I'm in a gallery now as I'm scrolling, and the whole thing is side-scrolling, and now I'm scrolling down, and it's going down again. AI optimization. All right, I'm going to stop about here because we just keep scrolling, and it just keeps bringing in more stuff. Oh, now I got to the end, and it's a big footer that says, now it's your move, contact us. Really nice site. Shout out to the Boathouse Agency for this site. Brad, I took you through these two sites. Which of these two do you think was built on WordPress, and which one was built on Wix Studio?
I like that. I got to see both because I hyper-analyzed the interactions and the tropes and choices that were made. And
just so you know, Brad knows both of those platforms very well.
Yep.
Both of those platforms. Master's hand on both of those platforms.
Yeah, no, I definitely. I've built countless WordPress sites. I've taught like 600,000 students how to do WordPress. And Wix Studio is my tool of choice these days. And I use it for lots of work, personally and professionally. So yeah, I'm aware, and I look at it and I'm like, ooh, how would I do this in Studio? How would I do this in Elementor? Right. What would I do here? You know? So I'm watching that. And I think I can tell you with 100% certainty, I think I know exactly which is which.
Oh, okay. Which one?
Okay.
Which one? Okay. So I have the Boathouse on right now. Which one do you think is the Boathouse? Let's do that one first.
The Boathouse, that's built with Wix Studio.
Okay. And
Synergy.
The Synergy then being built with
WordPress.
100%.
Okay.
100%. Now, you've seen both of these sites, Brad. Before I reveal whether you're right or wrong, which of these sites is better?
Yeah, objectively. And this is not to knock one, but the Boathouse Agency is the most impressive. If I took out the celebrity faces, because you might think, oh, it's just because there's like fancy celebrities with their like Hollywood backdrops and all these familiar faces. No, you could just put totally stock photo people and videos here. Objectively, the Boathouse Agency site is better. It's got really tasteful interactions. I mean, it's got a lot of movement, but I've seen sites that have movement for movement's sake. This kind of tells a story. It is interesting. It is a little bit glamorous. The branding, the dark, the black and white. It's really luxurious. It's high end. It's very clear this agency is an agency and they do big work with big names, and their site and the attention to detail on the experience of the site is it's very clear. I'm looking at this and I go, yeah, they're a top agency. Without knowing who they are, they clearly do work with like Verizon, Netflix, Yelp. I mean, there's a ton of Betterment. There's a ton of names there. And there are a few interactions there that I knew exactly how I would do that in Wix Studio. And I thought, I'm thinking that's Wix Studio there. Plus agencies, like that's what Wix Studio is for. It's for the agency. It's not for the plumber who wants to build his own site. He can use whatever. It's for the agency who builds sites for hospitality, for restaurants, for film, for creators, for influencers, for brands, for businesses, for, agriculture, for movies. It's for agencies who do great work. And it's very clear that this agency is successful. I imagine their revenues are pretty substantial.
Yeah.
So that's what I think of this one.
You're 100%.
Yep.
Final answer?
Final answer.
Okay. Brad, you are right. This is a Wix Studio site. you are still on the podcast, man.
There you go,
You're
man.
still on. I got to tell you, I've scrolling around on this and talking you through it as I scrolled, or talking the users through it as I scrolled. It's freaking awesome.
Yeah.
This site is freaking awesome.
Yeah.
It's like, I would have loved my agency site to be this.
Look like
back
that.
in the day. And
Yeah.
we had some cool sites over time, but this is really, really top flight stuff. The other one I found as an awards, AWWW awards winner. And this one was for one of the best WordPress websites. Also very great website. These buildings that extrapolate out and stuff and spin as I scroll and all the stuff that this one is doing. Really, really great work here too.
Yeah.
I totally agree. The point of showing you these two things is that there's this mindset out there attached to some products that in the mind of the consumer, there is legacy opinion or bias.
Yeah. Yep.
And Wix Studio, which is a product of Wix, has some of that bias in the minds of some of the older folk like me that were designing stuff back in the WordPress days when that was really the far and away best choice. In today's world, man, it's freaking killer. It is killer.
Yep.
So check out the boathouse.agency if you want to see the level of what you can do inside of Wix Studio. I think this is using the bulk of the aesthetic features that you can do in Wix Studio. This is using the bulk of those. There are a lot of back-end tools and things, e-commerce and email marketing and things, but from an aesthetic standpoint, there's no limitation to the slick factor that you can create in the platform, as evidenced by this. This one, by the way, is one of the case studies on the Wix Studio website. The Boathouse is a global creative agency that has worked with some of the world's biggest brands. Intriguing animations and interactions immediately capture attention and invite users on a scrolly telling journey of their process, projects, and client testimonials. I think you mentioned that. It is that storytelling thing. Yeah. So they just slayed it. I love this site. So good. So good. Beautiful. All right, Brad, we're going to go and shift now to the same thing we did with Affinity Designer and with Photoshop, but we're going to do it a little faster because we're coming up on time on our episode today.
Okay.
We're going to talk about 5 reasons you should switch from WordPress to Wix Studio. Why should you switch from WordPress to Wix Studio? Now that we've seen 2 awesome sites built on both of those platforms, what are the reasons that the user should switch? So I've got 5 on here. The first one, this is switching from WordPress to Wix Studio.
Okay.
Simplified all-in-one platform. Wix Studio eliminates the need for juggling multiple plugins, themes, and hosting providers. With WordPress, managing a site often requires external hosting and additional tools for SEO, backups, and security. Wix Studio provides an integrated solution where everything is built into one platform, reducing technical complexity. That's the topic. Brad, thoughts on that?
Yeah, definitely. That's a huge one for me. It's like the amount of sprawl that comes with having a website be online. It's like it's all over the place, and you just get used to it, and you take it for granted as like someone who's been doing this for a long time. You're like, well, your email's over here, and your hosting's over here, and which shared hosting platform, and there's like kind of the more dedicated ones, but we don't need a server. We could do the shared hosting over here. I got a deal on that one, and then they do the emails with the subdomains, and then there's also Cloudflare. We should probably make sure that we have some secure stuff, but then there's GoDaddy's secure sockets layers over here, and then you've got 8 different whatever they're called things that allow you, and then you're like, and then I got to use CyberDuck, which is the free donate only FTP client, but I can use that new code editor over here, which has a client built into it, the FTP. But do I want to FTP or do I want to go in through the terminal? And you're like, holy smokes, guys, what are we doing here? Like, So that to me, I know how to do that, but it's a pain in the butt. Whereas you could be like, new Wix Studio site, boom, it's secure.
And then
boom, it's
you're
all
building.
hooked up. Yeah.
Exactly. You're building.
Done.
Yeah, it is.
And it's secure. I don't need to subscribe to a separate tool, which I had to do because I got hacked so many times with WordPress sites. I had to subscribe out of pocket to a separate tool.
Cloudflare.
Yeah. And then in addition to that, I used a different tool for like making sure that you weren't getting blacklisted. And then if there was anything, they would be, I'm like, oh, it's just built into Wix Studio. It's like trying to explain to the client, hey, there's these 8 different tools that you need to sign up for. And if they're a must, you have to. And I'll do it for, just like, just sign up for Wix Studio, put your credit card in. It can just give me the damn thing and I can get to work. Done.
I love that. Good. Okay, you touched on a second one that's on this same list, but built-in security and maintenance. Brad just mentioned it. It's built into the Wix Studio platform. So that is a reason to leave WordPress and go to Wix Studio. That's a big one. WordPress is notorious for hackability. Oh my gosh. And anybody who's had any WordPress site up for any amount of time has probably been hacked. I've had so many sites for clients hacked. I had my own personal site hacked when I've been doing my current business and coaching and stuff. My site was hacked. Anyway, so that's a big one. It's for me. User-friendly design interface. Wix Studio offers an intuitive drag and drop editor with powerful customization options, making it easier for non-developers to create stunning websites. I find this in WordPress, which I've built so many sites on, but I'm a developer in one of my lives of the past. I had to. In my era of the web design, you were like a web design guy. You were the web guy. And you had to design it and you had to be able to build it too. And so you built everything, you designed everything in a way that it could be built. And so I come to that with WordPress and I understand how to make it work because I've had to build the stuff in hand code world. If you didn't, there's so much to learn to go to a WordPress because you do have to think like a developer to build in a WordPress. With Wix Studio, it is drag and drop. Use pre-built modules, pre-built templates, pre-built wireframes and stuff to be able to craft your site. And the stuff is already built and responsive. And all you have to do is skin a lot of the things. Streamlined SEO and marketing tools. With built-in SEO tools, analytics, and marketing features, Wix Studio simplifies promoting your website. This is a good one, man. You go into WordPress and you got to sign up for freaking Yoast SEO. And you gotta pay your subscription for that, and then go still fill out all your keywords and metadata and all your stuff. And it is another thing that you have to connect
the
to the
SEO
site.
thing for me is what gets me. I think when people are trying to be like WordPress is the only way because SEO, or like you got to use WordPress because SEO is the best. You can't use Wix or Wix Studio because I heard that the SEO is not good. And I'm like, bring your receipts. Where'd you hear that crap? And you're like, I just know it. Everybody knows it. Like, no, I'm going to ask you, where did you hear that? And then it's like, oh, it's just, we know that. I can Google it and it says SEO, some person wrote it. And I heard it from a trusted colleague one time. And you're like, look, first of all, you're wrong. Second of all, and I can prove that. And so third to that is, who do you think is better at SEO? You by yourself with a Yoast plugin that you pay whatever the subscription is, or a huge team of dedicated technical SEO professionals who are building a product that makes it basically dummy proof to do great SEO. Now, one, you have basically nothing at your fingertips, and you're just hoping that installing WordPress and Yoast makes you the best at SEO. The other one, you have a huge team who are constantly developing tools and products and ways for you to improve your SEO. Now, one of those is very slim, and one of those I have everything at my fingertips. So I'm going to discard the one that's slim, and I'm going to say, well, this one's got the whole suite built in front of me, and there are people who are building this product with great SEO in mind. Now, are they doing my SEO for me? I'm building out a site for, like a dentist or a tour guide company. in Hawaii and I want that to show up on local SEO, is Wix or WordPress just going to like get me on the first page? Hell no. Come on, don't be dumb. Who's going to do the SEO? You. Now, one doesn't really tell you much other than, yeah, it's great for SEO and people say it's great. And then you have to go and learn a bunch of resources and subscribe to a tool. And one says it's all baked into the tool and it's all, you're guided through it. It's built into the tool in and out and it's all SEO optimized and you have to step up and do the SEO work. One gives you the tools and has an army of SEO technical experts behind it. One just claims it's the best at SEO and you have to subscribe to a plugin. It's just like, come on. Your SEO sucks because you suck at SEO. So you can't say, oh, one's better than the other.
Touch of the master's hand, Brad. Touch of the master's hand. Yeah, it is. Because I agree. If somebody is super great at SEO, they can make the tool do the SEO effectively. The truth is on SEO, it doesn't matter how the site gets published. It matters that the site gets published to the internet and has the correct metadata. And then the things like backlinks and all that stuff that trigger SEO to be effective, that doesn't matter if it's a Wix Studio site or a WordPress site. So I think both of them can do great. Both of them can do great. I do think there's a bias though in the SEO world that, WordPress is best for SEO because all the SEO people have been using Yoast SEO for the last 20 years. And so the bias is that that's the best place to do it because they know it the best. Like I said at the beginning, what tool is the best? The one you know the best. That's the tool that's the best.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, let's go to the next one. Faster setup and development. Wix Studio allows users to get a website up and running quickly with pre-built templates and design elements. We already mentioned this. WordPress. In WordPress, selecting and customizing themes, configuring plugins, and managing integrations often takes more time and effort. That is 100% true. I can say because I built websites in Wix Studio and I built websites for years and years in WordPress. There is that connecting all the stuff together that has to happen that is oftentimes a clunky experience. All right, we're going to wrap this up by talking about 5 reasons to switch from Wix Studio to WordPress. And Brad, when I go down this list, so I pulled this data from the internet, these lists, using AI to go and crawl a bunch of websites and stuff to give us the reasons. So these are the 5 reasons that AI, ChatGPT, pulled. And I'm going to ask you, how often does this matter? Okay. So switch from, if you're using Wix Studio, you should switch because these 5 reasons you should switch to WordPress. The first one, greater flexibility and customization. WordPress is an open source platform giving users full control over every aspect of their website. Unlike Wix Studio, which is a closed system, WordPress allows you to customize code, install third-party plugins, and modify themes, making it ideal for complex or highly specific website needs. That last statement is the key. Complex and highly specific website needs. How many clients have you had in the past, Brad, that need something uber complex and highly specific that you couldn't do inside of Wix Studio that you would have to use WordPress to do?
It's so rare that comes up. And when it does come up, that client is the pain in the butt client. There's 20% of your clients, I found this to be true. Roughly 20% of your clients generate 80% of your revenue. Now, there's also 20% of your clients create 80% of your stress.
Yeah.
So, and don't contribute much to your bottom line. It's the client who has this weird, specific, and I remember this. I remember needing to, a client came to me and was like, I need to be able to drop a pin on a map based on coordinates, only using Google Maps and doing this. And then this needs to happen. And then it needs to trigger something on our back end that does this in our point of sale system. And I'm like, what in the frick is this? And I'm getting paid $3,000 for this job. This is crazy.
Yeah. Sorry.
I'm not doing it. Like, it's
Yeah.
like that sort of stuff. Like, it's not sure. Maybe there's some weird plugin that some dude created, I guess. But it's like, look, if you're just building websites because it's fun and you're having a great time and it's joyful to you and it's a hobby, kind of like creating music and doing music production is a hobby for me. Yeah. Sure. I can noodle around and find the plugin and do this and do that, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
But if I'm making money and I'm paying bills and I'm paying my taxes and I'm trying to like feed my family and like do my job and pay my contractors and grow a business and, you know, secure myself financially, I don't care about the edge case clients who are going to noodle about and stress me out for just like, I don't want that. I want the small amount of clients who are going to pay the bulk of it and who are going to be the least amount of stress. So that argument to say the highly complex, crazy, weird, specific stuff is only available in WordPress. And I go, thanks for telling me the red flag. I want nothing to do with it because I don't want those types of clients and I don't want to have to do the weird, highly specific stuff.
I will give you the flip side to that. The flip side is at my agency, we had multiple clients that were $300,000 websites. And we had a $500,000 website that we did. That was the biggest project we ever had. It was a $500,000 website. I could not have done those websites, or our team could not have done those websites in Wix Studio because the websites needed a complex and highly specific website need. And that need was robust gamification. That's what it was. It was like every interaction you had with the site triggered digital points to accrue into an e-commerce engine that then would allow them to purchase digital products and sign up for bonus tangible products, blah, blah, blah. It was this very complex site. And it was a lot of money, I agree. But I'm talking right there about probably $1 million worth of website projects against the $30 million of revenue that my agency did that could have been built in a Wix Studio. So there are those outlier cases where, yes, an open source environment like WordPress is the choice. But it is so rare to the common web designer out there that it doesn't make any sense to go down that route. And you talk about those kinds of clients. I mean, the clients were great, but the project was freaking stressful. Crazy. Stressful. You're on the hook for, it was like 540 grand, I think was our number. And it was so stressful, man. Anyway. Okay. The next thing, this is why you should switch from Wix Studio to WordPress. And let me ask again, Brad, and since we're way over time on today's episode, let's give fast answer. Massive plugin ecosystem. WordPress has 60,000 plus plugins. It offers unparalleled range of functionality. 60,000 plugins. Brad, how many plugins of those 60,000 have you used? What, like 59,000, maybe 59,500 of them that you've used over the years?
Holy smokes, man. I think there's like 8 plugins that I always use, and that's it.
8 plugins. And those plugins, I'm just going to guess what they are. One is an SEO plugin. Another one is probably an e-commerce plugin. Another one is probably an email marketing lead gen kind of plugin. Those are 3 of the 8. I can almost guarantee. Another one's probably like a map display plugin, like a Google Map display plugin. Another one's probably like a header footer, common code distributed over all the pages plugin. Another one is probably duplicate this, like duplicate an existing page to clone the page. I'm at like 5 or 6 of the plugins right there.
And one is back.
I could probably figure out what the other 2 are. Now, are any of those features not available inside of Wix Studio? Those ones that I just rattled off just now.
They're literally all just part of it. Google Maps is already built in. They're all just part of it. Forms, submissions, email marketing, pop-up windows, backups, site history. I mean, it's all there. So it's like, No, I don't need 60,000 plugins or whatever it is. Like,
another
it's
one
not
was
as good.
cache. Dump the cache plugin. That's what you probably have that one.
Speed up my WordPress site because it's sluggish.
Yeah, exactly.
Not sold. Not sold.
Yeah. So, okay, so point number 2, again, is in 90% or 99% of use cases, the 60,000 plugin thing is not a realistic sales pitch to switch. Yeah. The next one, scalability for larger websites. And we'll just gloss over this one because I agree. Scalability for larger websites. I gave the use case on that. Well, we had another one that we did for NBC, man. And we were migrating a blog for one of their shows that had like 10,000 blog entries. And we were migrating that from some antiquated platform they were using into a WordPress environment.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, we did it in WordPress. I would not have tried to migrate that inside of Wix Studio. That's a use case. So scalability for large scale, complex things like that. Yeah, WordPress wins. But that again, my agency, man, we were doing millions in revenue for the top tier clients. That was the work we were doing. Yeah. And in those outlier cases, yeah, you do want a WordPress, but that is not what normal people are doing. It's just the abnormal people like me that are saying yes to stuff because of fear of revenue. Yeah, we'll figure it out, man. That was my, and then I'm like, Brent, shout out to Brent, my dev who was there. He was with my agency. He was there for 20 years, man, 20 years. He was like my 4th hire or something like that. And he just left the agency last year. Which was like 5 years after I left my agency after selling. He was still there. Anyway, so I would just go to Brent. I'd be like, Brent, can you figure this out? He's the master of figuring it out. Okay. Amazing. Ownership and portability. Now, this one I could agree with. With WordPress, you have complete ownership of your website and hosting. Agreed. You can move your site to any hosting provider, unlike Wix Studio, where your site is tied to their platform. This freedom ensures that you're not locked into one ecosystem and can adjust hosting plans as your needs grow. Brad, I'm going to ask you a question. How many times, you've done probably hundreds of websites over your career, how many times have you taken a WordPress website and moved it to some other hosting environment? How many times have you done that?
I've been on the same host since I was like 17 years old or something like that. Like I don't do that. I've never done that.
Nobody does this. Nobody does this. That's the point.
Yeah.
This ownership and portability that is highlighted as one of the reasons to choose WordPress over Wix Studio is a moot point, because if you look at the history, you typically do not move the website from one host to another unless there's some rare case where you chose a super cheap bad host and you have to move environments. But Wix Studio is not a bad host. This is a multi-billion-dollar company that has hundreds of thousands of websites, millions of websites, to be honest, built on their platforms. This is not a bad host that you're going to be like, I got to change because my host's going out of business. That's not the situation.
No,
so it's a moot point on that one.
It's an edge case. Yeah.
Yeah, edge case. Okay, and the 5th one, cost effective for advanced features. While Wix Studio includes hosting and features in its pricing, costs can add up quickly for advanced needs. WordPress often provides a more affordable solution for complex sites, as you can choose your own hosting provider, use free or low-cost plugins, and avoid ongoing platform fees. I tend to disagree with this. With Wix Studio, there's so many features that are already built into the one subscription fee that the likelihood of you paying extra for plugins is very low. Whereas WordPress, it does add up. You're paying, if you have like your own virtual server or something, you could be paying, we were for some of our clients $100 a month just for the hosting environment. Yeah. And then you've got a handful of plugins on top of it. Yeah. And then you have a theme that you built it on fee that you're paying on top of that. I don't think that when push comes to shove, there is really a monetary difference that's notable between one or the other.
Yeah, I tend to agree. It's business. It costs look, I try to reframe when people make this argument of like, oh, it's expensive, like to upgrade to the premium this and do this and do this. Like, look, any decent plugin or app that you add to WordPress costs money. There's an independent developer or company or software as a service company that charges $59, $99, $199 a month to access their premium quality secure tool that you plug into your WordPress site that then you pass off to your client to either pay for or reimburse you for with or without profit on top of it. So it's like, it's going to cost you money there, and it costs you money at Wix Studio. It's all unified under one thing. It's easy to see. And also, look, if you're billing $5,000, $10,000, $30,000, $50,000 for a website, who cares if it's $99 a month? Your client's paying for it anyway. It doesn't matter.
I just get the client's credit card and I put it on the client's credit card.
It's part of their business cost.
So it does not matter.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, this was the emphasis, I think, in showing this. Another thing that I want to shout out here on this, the learning environment for Wix Studio is so good. The company backs their products so well that if you want to learn Wix Studio, there are a gajillion ways that you can learn it. One of those ways is by joining Creative Crew Community, where there are all kinds of resources and tools and workshops. And Brad, who is a Wix Studio wizard and has office hours and coaching sessions that are available to help support the community, is in there, along with other Wix Studio experts that show up in the discussion board all the time for that platform. So I love that about Wix Studio. Instead of going to Reddit and finding any Joe Schmo somewhere in the world giving you some kind of tutorial trying to figure out the thing, and you don't know if that person has any reputation or not or whatever, and you're trying to figure out how to do something in a WordPress environment, you know where to go for the answers, and it's a robust knowledge base on the Wix Studio website and then some of the communities that they offer to their user base as well. Yeah. So in the end, as we wrap this episode, the bottom line is, it is about what platform do you know best? And the truth is that a WordPress genius can design an award-winning website. We saw it in the Synergy website. And the Wix Studio genius can build a gorgeous drop-dead website. It may have won awards. I didn't look deeper than that, but it's an award-winning website, that the Boathouse Agency website. So great. The platform does not matter which you choose. Choose the one that's best for you. And the only reasons to choose WordPress over Wix Studio are the outlier reasons that we mentioned inside of this episode. If you need 60,000 plugins, agreed. Go to WordPress. You want to muddle through 60,000 plugins. That is the platform of choice. Yeah. If you want just the 8 plugins that you use every time, well, they're all built into Wix Studio. Yeah. Brad, do you have any final thoughts as we take this episode out?
I think to tie it all up, it really comes down to what the touch of the master's hand. You're right. It's it's what you know. And I want to encourage anyone who's rigid in their thinking of whatever tool it is. You're like, I don't like Canva. I'm a Photoshop guy. Or you're like, I do all my photo editing over here, or all my video editing over here, or all my graphic work or document work or design work or writing work. It's like, look, there's multiple tools to do the job. And for somebody to completely ignore, in this case, Wix Studio, because of some antiquated idea that was installed in your brain from an old Reddit post 10 years ago, or your past experience from a decade ago, it's like you're missing the point, and I think you're sleeping on something really important. Nobody's asking you just to convert to one tool and only use that. Like, that's not the point. We can choose lots of different tools for different solutions. So my favorite thing to do, specifically with Wix Studio, and this goes for any tool, is try it. I had weird opinions or bad opinions about certain video editing software. And I was like, I'll try it. And then I was like,
Yeah.
I actually like this. I think I'm going to do it. Try it. Just give it a go. Wix Studio, try it out. Fire up a site, use the Figma to Wix Studio plugin. Heck, just join us in the creative crew. We do a monthly boot camp. We have training videos, tutorials, lessons. We have some Wix Studio staff that we have in the community to give you priority VIP support for product. We do training. We do all this stuff. And so it'll just try it out. We'll see what happens. And I bet you would realize you're missing out on some pretty cool tooling, professional tooling that you could use in your practice as well. That's what I got to say.
That was good thoughts, Brad. Thank you.